Welcome to the Gunpla Network. I'm Murdoch, and this is 5 Minute Mecha, where I've got 5 minutes to give you the rundown on a mech. Mecha Parts Guy is an online retailer that specializes in selling Gunpla, Evangelion, Kotobukiya, Flame Toys, and many other model kits, runners, and parts to replace whatever happens to yours. No need to buy a whole new kit, just buy the specific missing parts and keep building. As a member of the Gunpla Network community, you are also entitled to a permanent 10% discount at the store when you use the code GUNPLANetwork10. Today we're looking at the GAT-X131 Calamity Gundam. GAT-X131 Calamity Gundam is a second-generation GAT-X100 series Gundam from Gundam Seed in Cosmic Era 71. This poster child for the Obari shooting pose memes was developed with many operational cues from the Buster Gundam before it. It was made to be a highly mobile artillery piece, but with all the new features you'd find in next year's model. Unlike the Buster Gundam, the Calamity sports a fancier, supremely more energy-efficient trans-phase armor, allowing it to get away with using its absurd amount of high-power energy weaponry. The Calamity Gundam comes loaded for bear in the guns department, as we'll see in a moment, but oddly enough, doesn't have any close combat weapons to speak of. The Calamity's armament consisted of its trademark Schlag 125mm high-energy, long-range beam cannons, these being the big guns mounted over the shoulders. They are described as being particularly nasty, and footage from the final space battles in Seed very much confirmed this. On its chest, we have a weapon that, from what I've seen, will be somewhat commonplace with other Gundams in Seed, the Scylla 580mm multi-phase energy cannon. This particular one was based off the Aegis Gundam's own iteration of it, and can be used to also ruin somebody's day if they start getting too close. Next up, carried in hand, is the Todesblock 337mm plasma-sabot bazooka. It's a bazooka, and it shoots rockets with a plasma payload. There's a rule of cool tropes here somewhere. I know it. But I'm getting too many mental images. Moving on. On its anti-beam shield, which is said to be made of the same materials as Zaft's Laurasia-class space vessels, it's yet another fictional metal that's super light and super hard, complete with an anti-beam coating, and sporting a pair of Käfer Zwei 115mm ram cannons. They're beam cannons, and they have a decent rate of fire. Fun fact about the Calamity, it, like the vast majority of the mobile suits in Gundam Seed, were designed by the legend himself, Kunio Okawara. The Calamity itself ended up being the basis for a melee variant known as the Sword Calamity, most famously piloted by Ed the Ripper Harrelson, and the Blau Calamity, which would later appear during the events of Seed Destiny in CE 73. The Calamity had been rolled out with 2 other machines during its first appearance, the Transformable Raider Gundam and the water-specialized Forbidding Gundam. The iteration of the Calamity we've come to know was piloted by Orga. No, not that one. This one. Orga Sabnak, biological CPU program pilot. What's a biological CPU? The long version will have to wait for another video. Suffice it to say, Seed has a lot of deep state shadow organizations, and this biological CPU program involves a lot of drugs and brainwashing to condition the pilots to be single-use throwaway super soldiers. There's a lot going on there. During the second battle of Yakin Due, which happened to be the final battle of the war in Seed, the Calamity was taken out by Athrin Zala piloting the Meteor-equipped Justice Gundam. That's it for this episode. See you in the next one.